Hi everybody, I'm yoga instructor Alison Schuster and welcome to Om Sweet Om. Today we're talking to Walt Gasiorowski, fellow yoga instructor. How you doing, Walt?
Pretty good.
We're glad to have you here today.
Well, thanks for having me.
We're going to talk about our favorite subject, which is yoga, today. And you work with a very specific population of students. Tell us who you work with.
Mainly I work with Parkinson's students. So these are people that have a clinical diagnosis of Parkinson's disease. Typically that onset's upward of 60 years old, so they're also an older population as well.
Now this is a fascinating conversation because a lot of people come to yoga because they're looking for a connection. You know, maybe they want the physical strength, the flexibility, but they're also sometimes looking for a connection with themselves, maybe stress relief. All of these things are reasons people come to yoga. But today we're going to talk about what the science is behind that.
Yeah, and we can start out with the Parkinson's as an example because these people are coming for not the particular typical reasons that you cited, but more for a medical reason.
Right.
So Parkinson's has a number of manifestations in terms of its symptoms. It creates a lot of rigidity in the body. It creates a lot of one-sidedness. Parkinson's affects people in a unilateral way. And Parkinson's is what's known as a small disease. So their movements get smaller, the shoulders get hunched, their handwriting actually gets smaller, their voices get lower. They don't open up and speak loudly. And we try to do all those things of opening up the body, raising the voice back up, and of course with rigidity there comes a problem with balance. So we do work on some balance, but also there's a lot of cognitive skills that we work on, a lot of movement and coordinated movement. And with my background I have some martial arts there, and I bring some Tai Chi elements into the Parkinson's group, which really in the yoga world we would call mindfulness or being in the moment. It really gets these people to focus on what they're doing. And
let's talk about that, because this is something that I think people may not understand about yoga. What is the science behind yoga? And really, it's a brain science.
It is. It largely is. And also, having said that it's a brain science, let's consider that the brain doesn't reside necessarily only in the head.
Right.
We know of the enteric nervous system, the vagus nerve, so it's really a systemic thing. It goes throughout the body.
I know it drives you crazy when people separate mind and body.
Yeah.
That it really is all one.
It's a whole unit. It really is. And I haven't come up with a good word that I like to use to describe mind and body, or even mind-body, because there's still that division there between mind and body. I don't know what the word is, but it is a single unit. And going back to the Parkinson's population and then working this conversation forward to a more general yoga population, what we get the folks in the Parkinson's class to do is to think with the higher brain. And what I mean by that is our brain is divided into three basic structures: the brain stem, the subcortex, and the cortex. And the cortex is where our cognitive processing and our reasoning and our rationalizing reside. And it's what sets us apart from any other mammals. They don't have that part of the brain, which is also called the new brain. It's in terms of how many thousands and thousands of years humans have been around, it's still a new development. It's new. So Parkinson's, the disease actually resides in the subcortex. There's a structure there called the substantia nigra that produces dopamine. And in Parkinson's, that structure is interfered with and the dopamine production shuts down, and then this plethora of symptoms comes on. So to help modulate what's going on in this deep brain, in this subcortex, we get them to be mindful. We get them to think with the higher brain, the cortex. And that's where these cognitive skills of different motions, and we'll go through some of these, where they're really having to pay attention. And it's my job to make sure they don't get into too repetitive of a state. If I have them doing a simple exercise and they get it, and they understand it, and they can just flow through it easily, now they're not using that higher brain anymore. That has become habituated, and it's really kind of like being a parrot, that they're just doing this without thinking about it.
Going through the motions.
And it's what we know as a flow state.
Right.
Now, in the flow state, if that's where you want to be, what an athlete might call being in the zone, say a great example would be Michael Jordan, the basketball player. You could make foul shot after foul shot after foul shot. He was in his zone.
Right.
So for him to be in that flow state was a good thing. For a person to just be able to do a particular movement, well, they might want to do and need to do something more. So when I see them coming into a flow state, I want to progress them out of that. I want to give them something harder to do. And then when they come into a flow state with that activity, progress them to something even more complex.
So constantly challenging.
Constantly challenging
those
them.
connections with the brain and the movement.
Yeah. And also our main motor control center for the body movements, resides in the subcortex of the brain. It's known as the basal ganglia. And we're really talking about a vertical integration of the brain here. So we're doing this cognitive processing with the new brain, with the cortex, which comes down through, sends directions to the basal ganglia in the subcortex, which sends its messages down the brain stem, then to the spinal cord, and out all the innervations of the spinal cord to control all our motor movements, including very, very fine motor movements.
Smaller movements. And so this can help with those physical limitations. In other words, to expand the ability of the body to move when you're faced with this kind of limitation.
And it does do that, but also, again, keeping with that thought that the person is a single unit rather than mind-body, there's also a very strong emotional component which is directly related to the body. And as we know, we store stress in our bodies.
Right.
We know about grinding teeth, right? You go to your
Tense
dentist.
shoulders,
Tense shoulders. You go to your dentist and he says, you've been giving your molars a workout. So we have this instinctual thing where we hold stress in our bodies. And I know that yoga teachers and practitioners talk a lot about the psoas muscles.
Right.
The psoas muscles run from the middle of the spine down through the abdomen and connect into the inner thighs, and that's a hip flexor, which is responsible for this type of movement. And it's just in our nature from thousands of years of exposure and programming that there's this stress response where we hunch over,
protecting
and
the chest,
protecting all the vital organs, protecting the face, the head. And when you think about it in our daily lives, almost everything we do involves this forward flex position, whether you're working at a kitchen counter or at a desk or on your cell phone, you're in this position.
The computer, sitting at a computer.
Yes.
Sure.
So you're inadvertently sending this message from the body to the brain that, hey, something's wrong.
Right. A distress call.
A distress call. Right. Meanwhile, there's no problem other than maybe you missed that text.
Right.
Okay. But there's the saber-toothed tiger is not chasing you.
Right.
But nevertheless, the brain, the amygdala, which again is in the subcortex, sends off a signal that fight or flight. Right. Something's wrong. And we feel stressed. We might not know why, but it's because of our posture.
It's just because of the posture.
And when you think about it, we talk a lot in yoga about hips and heart opening. Right. So, and both of those affect the psoas, because the psoas, it's interesting that one of its attachment points is the T12 vertebra, which is also an attachment point for the diaphragm, the muscle that we use for breathing.
Right.
And we use breath, deep, slow breathing, to relax, and it's just kind of coincidental, or is it coincidental, Is it something substantial? That those points to the psoas, one of the main stress holders of our body, and the diaphragm are tied together at the same point.
Sure.
And you can't have one relaxed without the other.
And that's also, if we talk about vocal toning.
Vocal toning.
Why do we say Om at the beginning of a class, Walt?
Well, Om is considered to be a primal sound. But going beyond that, I like to get into the science of vocal toning, and Om's not the only sound. I do with the Parkinson's class, but I interjected in some of my other yoga classes from time to time this practice of vocal toning where we use 7 different vowel sounds, so we're all familiar with the sound of Om. Om. Well, we go through this series of other sounds, and they're assigned to the chakras, but I don't get into that because I found a number of different assignments.
Right.
So one sound may be assigned to a chakra in one listing, but may be assigned to a different chakra in another listing. So sure. I don't get too concerned about that. I just make sure that I work with the 7 different sounds. And just to run briefly through those, we start in the system that I was taught. The crown is E, so Eem, Aim, I'm, Om, Om, And with science there's not a lot of research into this, but from some things I've found on some university websites is that the sound that we produce with our own voice, 80% of what we hear of that comes through our skeletal system. It's actually vibrating in the bones, which transfers into the auditory parts of our ears and into our brains. Only 20% is what's actually coming out of our mouth and back into our ears. And this vibration that we set up in our body actually produces a greater release of healthy neurotransmitters in our nervous system, good things like vasopressin and oxytocin and serotonin, not the cortisol,
right.
not the norepinephrine, but the healthy, relaxing neurochemicals.
So it can help with those signals to the brain, again, of relaxing the body, not putting the body into fight or flight. Now, Walt, tell us what you see happening in your Parkinson's classes and even in your other yoga classes when we start to make those connections as far as that awareness.
What I see is people have reported to me that their mood is much improved because there is an emotional element to Parkinson's, whether it be from just the experience of the physical symptoms or the long-term outlook. Mm-hmm. There is an emotional element. So there's a greater relaxation. There's improved sense of balance. These people report to me that their balance is better. I notice with some poses that we do that their strength improves. With doing hands and knees, cat-cow, I've observed some people really strengthening in the shoulders. And certainly release of rigidity. They like the stretching, they like the deep stretching. And then, as I indicated earlier, I bring this cognitive element of Tai Chi type motions into the class. And this cognitive processing really gets them out of that deep brain, out of that subcortex, and gets them functioning in the new brain, and helps at least manage the symptoms of Parkinson's, helps them keep them in check, yes.
We just think this is amazing. And I love the science behind yoga, because we really can delve into the emotional side of it, but also the physical side and what we want to achieve. And it's available to so many different populations. Really, there's something in it for everyone.
There is.
Now, if somebody would like to take one of your classes, where can we find you, Walt?
Well, the Parkinson's class is at Oxford Athletic Club in Wexford, and I also teach a yin yoga class, which is another style of yoga that I really enjoy, and I teach that at Connected Health, also in Wexford. and that's a Monday evening, 6:30 class.
We're gonna have to have you back to talk about yin, because you know I love yin yoga.
Yeah, I love yin yoga. And
we can't fit it all into one show.
When we get talking into yin yoga, then we get into all the connective tissues and the muscle, and that just goes off into a whole fascinating world there.
It really is. It really is. Well, we hope that you'll join us
again.
Oh
yeah, I'll be back.
We've got so much to talk about.
Sure.
We're going to take the yoga outside today, because there's nothing like moving and connecting with nature as well.
Okay.
So we're headed out to Richland Park today. Come and join me in a moment on the mat. Let's come to the center of the mat. Take a nice deep breath in. And exhale. Let's swan dive down, reach for the toes. Take another one. Nice deep breath in. Reach all the way up. And then exhale. Swan dive down for the toes. Inhale. Hands to shins, halfway lift. And exhale, release. Forward fold. Take a nice deep sun breath in, stepping to the top of the mat. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's inhale, right leg steps back, crescent lunge. Exhale, release, humble warrior. Reaching the right arm forward, left arm back. Take a nice deep breath in. See if you can push those arms just a little bit higher. Then exhale, reach for the mat, 2 feet together into plank. Let's take it down through chaturanga. Cobra, and down dog. Gaze between the two hands, step, hop, or jump, top of the mat. Nice deep sun breath in, and exhale. Hands come to heart center. Let's inhale, left leg steps back, crescent lunge. Exhale, release, humble warrior. Pressing the left arm forward, right arm back. Take a nice deep breath in. Put your gaze at your foot. See if you can lift the arms a little higher. Then exhale, reach for the mat, 2 feet into plank. Take it down through chaturanga, cobra, and down dog. Gaze between those two hands, step, hop, or jump, top of the mat. Nice deep sun breath in, reach it up, and exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhale, right leg steps back, crescent lunge. Exhale, release, humble warrior. Press that right arm forward. Left arm back. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale. Let's flip the palms, widen out. Taking it into airplane. Maybe you shift forward. Maybe you point the toe behind you. Maybe you can rise all the way up into airplane. Reach the arms out nice and wide. Can we take 2 breaths here? A nice deep breath in. And use that exhale. Release. One more nice deep breath in. Reach it out and exhale. Bring those arms up. Warrior 1. Reach the arms for the sky. Bring the palms together. Take them to the head, the heart, and down to the mat. Stepping back into plank, let's take it all the way down through chaturanga, cobra, and down dog. Gazing between the two hands, step, hop, or jump, top of the mat. Take a nice deep sun breath in. And exhale, hands to heart center. Let's inhale, left leg steps back, crescent lunge. Exhale, release, humble warrior. Reaching the left arm forward, right arm back. Take a nice deep breath in. Press those arms a little higher. Then on the exhale, let's flip the palms, widen out, airplane wings. Take a nice deep breath in. Then see if you can shift forward, rising up into airplane. Let's take 2 breaths here. Deep breath in. Use the exhale, reach the arms out. One more nice deep breath in. Really reach the arms, press the foot back. Then let's bring the toe back down to the mat. Arms come up into warrior 1, reach for the sky, deep breath in. And bring those palms together to the head, the heart, down to the mat. Step those 2 feet together into plank. Take it down through chaturanga, cobra, and down dog. Let's widen out the hands in down dog. Widen out the feet. Can you take that right arm, reach back for the left ankle, pull yourself through, just a little twist. Then setting the hand down, take the left hand back to the right ankle. Nice deep breath here, little twist. And bring it back to center. And gazing between the two hands, step, hopper, jump, top of the mat. Nice deep sun breath in. And then exhale. Bring your hands to heart center. And let's step to the middle of the mat. Take a nice deep breath in. And bring those hands down to heart center. Let's bring the right arm in front of the face. Left arm wraps around, eagle arms. Push those elbows up to 90 degrees. Let's take the right foot behind the left leg, taking eagle in a different direction. Slowly begin to sink the hips. Maybe the toe lifts up. Can you begin to hinge at the hip? Let the forearms come parallel with the floor. Maybe the fingertips reach down for the mat. You can walk them over to the right side. Maybe you plant the hands. You can take the leg out to the side. Maybe bring it as close to the mat as you can. Just hover it there. Then pressing back up through, same way. Bring it all the way back to standing. Take a nice deep breath in. Reach for the sky. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Left arm comes in front of the face, right arm wraps around. Take a nice deep breath in. Take that left foot behind the right, hinge at the hip, and slowly taking it down into eagle. Maybe those forearms come parallel with the floor. Maybe you reach the fingertips down, walk those hands over to the left side. You can plant the hands. Maybe left leg begins to straighten. Take it as far down as you can. Maybe it hovers above the mat. Then slowly rising back up. Take a nice deep breath in. Reach for the sky. We're going to widen out the feet into a straddle. And then exhale. Swan dive down. Reach the hands for the center of the straddle. Then inhale and press to a flat back. And exhale, release. Follow that breath. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, release. One more. Nice inhale to a flat back. We're going to toe heel the feet together just a little bit. Can you bring the hands to the hips and rise up? Let the heart center lift you all the way to standing, turning the toes out 45 degrees. Take a nice deep breath in. Bring those palms together overhead, maybe a little back bend. Then exhale into goddess, all the way down as low as you can go. Let's inhale, press those palms together. And exhale, sink a little deeper. One more, nice deep breath in. Really reach upward. Then exhale, sink as low as you can into goddess. Can you hold it right there? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release into that forward fold. Follow the breath in the straddle. Nice deep breath in. Press to a flat back. And exhale, release. Maybe reaching out for the ankles. Can you deepen that straddle? Deepen the stretch by letting the chest fall down towards the thighs. One more breath. Then bringing those hands to the center. Can you hop those 2 feet together? And bring it all the way to standing. Nice deep breath in. And exhale. Hands come back to heart center. Widening out the feet. Take a deep breath in. Can you bring the palms together overhead? And then exhale. Let them come out to either side. Flip the palms forward, standing in Tadasana. Close the eyes. One nice deep breath in. And holding it right there. Another one, nice deep breath in. Use that exhale, releasing into the mat. Then opening the eyes,
Step those 2 feet together. Let's take a nice deep breath in. And then exhale. Bending at the knees, come on down to the mat. Coming to seated on the mat. Crossing the right leg over the left. Maybe that left leg curls underneath. Maybe you leave it extended. Wrapping the left arm around the knee. Take the right arm behind you. Nice deep breath in. See if you can exhale. Twist a little bit further. Gaze out over the right shoulder. Another deep breath in. And on the exhale, maybe a little more twist and bring it back to center. Switching out the legs, cross the left leg over the right. Tucking the right leg underneath or extending it out long. Wrap the right arm around the leg. Left arm goes behind. Can you gaze out over the left shoulder? Nice deep breath in. Use that exhale, little twist. Another deep breath in. See if you can take that twist just a little bit farther. And then bring it back to center. Coming to seated on the mat, arms out to either side. Nice deep breath in. And bring those hands to heart center.
Open your heart and mind to new ideas to improve your health and wellness. Find the light within you. Take it out into the world. Namaste.